So it's really nice to see you all. I know some of you, and I haven't met others, so it's great to meet you. So I'm Sam Jackson. I'm a director at Town and Country Auctions. I think some of you know me from my previous business, the Property Portal, but now we're concentrating on our auction platform. So I just want to sort of spend 10 or 15 minutes talking to you about that today. Little bit of background about me. I'm a practicing lawyer, or was a practicing lawyer for 20 odd years in property. Moved out of that in 2018 and took on a franchise for Town and Country Auctions. So myself and my business colleagues have utilised our skill set in property and law and are utilising that now on an auction platform. Town and Country, why Town and Country? We were approached by them, oh gosh, about 3 or 4 years ago now, to take a franchise. It's a franchise model. It's a company that's been going for some time. So that's why we gravitated towards them, if you like, because they got a lot of history. They were well grounded in what they were doing. So they were formed in 1991, and right towards the sort of today that they've moved from a traditional estate agency into auctions. Auctions were launched in 2010 and have expanded ever since. Teams of people, everybody's mugshots on there for you. So whilst we've got our franchise for our area, so if you draw a line from Birmingham and take it all the way up to Scotland, that's the area that I cover. But we can deal with properties and help you and your colleagues throughout the country. So we've got a great network of people with bags of experience, some agents, some have come from industry, some are lawyers like myself. So don't think it's just geographically just for me in this particular area. If you've got any requirement for property throughout the country, I can tap into this lovely group of people here and use their experience on the ground, they're local, to be able to help you out nationally. So as I've said, we've got a local office here in Cheshire, but we've got teams throughout the country. So in terms of this particular group, I will always be your point of contact. But as I say, don't be fearful of sending things across to me for a property in Wales or a property down south. We've got it covered. I just thought I'd speak to you about market trends and about perceptions for auctions. The industry's changed massively even since I've been involved with it in the last 4 years. And I think that's been kind of driven a little bit by the pandemic and about people's perceptions for auctions and what they're now looking for. So we've found that the industry, fingers crossed, seems to be pretty recession proof. And we're being approached by all sorts of people now who are looking for an auction offering just because they want something different. They want more security in a sale. In terms of what we offer to both vendors and buyers, we like to think we're slightly different from anybody else out there. So we are free to sell from a vendor's perspective. So when somebody puts a property on the market with us, we do not charge them an agency fee. And that's also as well, if we partner with an estate agency, they do not charge a fee. We have no sale, no fee legal packs. So to all intents and purposes, for somebody that's struggled to sell, then why not give it a go? There's no fee for withdrawal. There's no fee for a pack. There's no fee to sell the property. So if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, then that person walks away not having a huge bill. And actually, the best thing to say is that we've got an 80 to 90% success rate for selling houses, which is pretty damn good. In terms of, I mean, shout out, but I'm guessing the perception for auctions is that properties are, lower end or with issues, but that's not the case. So we're able to sell properties right from tenanted residential investments, development, buildings, mixed use, commercial. If it can be registered at the land registry, I can sell it. We can deal with it. So it doesn't have to be a derelict property, a property with problems. If you look at our website, the majority of our properties start at about 250,000 and go all the way up to sort of 3 or 4 million if you're looking at London. I've just recently sold a stately home in Cheshire for 1.4, and we've currently got a half-built property on there in Cheshire again, huge big place for 600,000. So don't just think that it's just for those properties that you're struggling to sell with a mine shaft in the garden or the probate or the derelict. You'd be very surprised at the sort of properties that we've sold over the years. We've sold Colin's house for him here on the left. We've sold Dave's on the right, which is the one with the pool. We've sold a property here. This one was on the south coast, which the guys in London sold about 2 years ago. So as you can see, they're not your sort of standard properties with a mine shaft in the middle of Stoke with a problem tenant. We can sell all sorts. We can sell those properties for you, by the way, but we can sell all sorts. I've got a little short video because I just think sometimes it's easier for you to see something actually in progress and working. So this is about 2 minutes for you just to take a quick look at, if that's okay. She says it's not working. Hang on a second. How do I go back, Dave? There we go. I've got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Auctions every month. These are normally at the end of the month and take place on our website. All types of properties across the UK and Ireland are sold at our auctions, ranging from residential, tenanted investments, commercial and land. A valuation is arranged and a member of the Town and Country team will come to inspect your property and provide an auction valuation. Once instructed, we will prepare and write up the particulars to be marketed through our website and portals, such as Rightmove and Zoopla. To ensure the vendor is legally ready for the sale, our auction hub will also contact the vendor to assist with the legal packs. The legal packs are of no cost to the vendor until the property is sold. Our auction hub operates an in-house service that connects the vendors to our recommended auction specialist solicitors, who can then compile a comprehensive legal pack, and the team oversee the management of the pack to ensure the property is sale ready for the monthly auction. You will also be invited to the Auction Hub portal, a digital platform that allows you and the vendor to keep track of their sale through the auction process. In the meantime, viewings are arranged, and a member of the auction team will accompany prospective buyers around the property. Viewings will either be by appointment or via open days. Purchasers are required to complete an auction passport account to bid. Each property has a scheduled start and end time specific to the property. On the day of the auction, if the bidding reaches the reserve price and there are no further bids when the timer goes to 0, the property has now sold. Exchange of contracts takes place, and you must contact your solicitor to provide them with instructions. The auction team will send the completed paperwork to the solicitors. 28 days later, completion will take place, and keys will be handed over to the purchaser. To find out more, please visit tcpa.co.uk.
I hope you could all hear that. I thought there was silence and nobody shouted that you couldn't. So that's great. I hope that gives you a bit of an overview as to how the whole process can work for somebody on a practical level. So in terms of selling through us, because obviously we look to attract people who want to sell to us, and we also want buyers to buy from us, goes without saying. So just to recap, we can offer full legal pack assistance throughout. So in order to sell a property at auction, for those who don't know, it's front-loaded information. So we work with groups of solicitors who can provide that auction pack for us, which goes onto the system, but we handhold through all that. Vendors can track the progress, and we've got a team of people here who will speak to them. We have monthly online auctions, but it's really important to say that when we put a property on our platform, we mark them as accepting pre-auction offers, which means effectively from the point at which that property is on our platform, it can be sold at any time under auction conditions. So please don't think that if somebody instructs us on the 1st of October, they've got to wait until the 30th of October to sell. If we get an offer that's palatable during that time, we can exchange contracts under auction conditions at any point in consultation with that vendor. And we can guide, and we do guide vendors on realistic guide and reserve prices. We will not take properties and put them on our platform that we don't think we can sell. It's not fair to those people that we partner with, and it's certainly not fair to vendors. And then in terms of buyers, buyers can go onto the website and have a demo as to how they proceed on an auction night. It's like eBay. but for a lot bigger property, for a lot bigger money, for a lot greater money, sorry. So where it's very similar to eBay and how you would bid there. We do require proof of funds, so we do all of the due diligence. And as I said before, you can make an offer prior to the auction if you want to. The platform, like eBay, does have an anti-sniping 60-second extension window at the end. So if we do get a frenzy of activity, that will just keep rolling over at the end of that auction. And then in terms of sort of this group and how you can help me or how I could potentially help you, we look to partner with various people. We don't just go direct to public, but we're also looking to connect with probate solicitors, insolvency practitioners, receivers, and our main sort of area is with estate agents. So we don't do private treaty, so we don't tread on toes, and we look to partner with estate agents who don't currently have an auction offering or people who are unhappy with their current auction offering. So we can work collaboratively with them in terms of selling properties, and we offer a commission split on that basis, and it can be very lucrative. So our buyer's premium, so it's the buyer who pays the fee on exchange, is set at 5% plus VAT. There is some wiggle room in that, and we do speak to people individually about it, but there is a minimum of £5,000 plus VAT commission on each of our sales, which we split 50-50 with any agent that refers that to us. So it can be very lucrative for them. And in terms of referring properties, it's dead straightforward. All we do is we will speak to either yourselves, a member of the public, an estate agent, and we just need a name, a number, and some property details, and we can take it from there. It's not rocket science. There's no convoluted forms to fill out. It's a conversation that we have with whoever it is that refers the work to us. So it's really straightforward. So just a quick summary, guys. We're free to sell. We've got a really good local team of people based right the way throughout the UK. We've got the skill set because of our background to provide guidance to buyers and to sellers. We don't charge a fee. We've got no entry and withdrawal fees. And for anybody that's referring work to us and for referring sales to us, it's 5% plus VAT split, or and a 50-50 on exchange of contracts as well, which is really important to say. Our auctions are online. They are unconditional, so it's not modern method. So when the hammer goes down, it's 28-day completion. And we're finding that lots of people are looking at that now because they want security for a sale. Conveyancing's taking anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks to go through. So if you've got anybody that wants that security, wants a secure sale, and they're just obviously pass my details on, and we can look after them. And contact details are on there, but I think Dave's recorded this, so I'm guessing, are you sharing it, Dave?
You've only got 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm done. And so that hopefully gives you a brief overview of something that's not overly complicated. We all know about property, and we all obviously know somebody or anybody within our lives. It doesn't necessarily have to be from a commercial perspective, who wants to buy and sell. So if you feel like we can help, then I'll be more than happy to. Any questions?
I hadn't really thought about the main benefit of it, but it is about getting things done quickly, isn't it?
Massively, Lisa. Yeah. I mean, what we're finding now is that I think probably 2 or 3 years ago, people would only come to auction if there was a problem. I took 2 calls yesterday from people who've had properties sold since the start of the year, and somebody's now let them down. We're 6 months down the line and they're just fed up of waiting. So they're prepared to take a slight decrease in the value of the property, because obviously from an auction perspective, we guide lower, usually about 20% below market value. But they're willing to do that because the money's in the bank within 28 days. It's the security of it. That's the big selling point.
That was another question. It was like the price of, typically what would something sell for at auction compared to market value with an estate agent? But you've answered that.
So
thank you.
We tend to list, so the guide price tends to be, as a rule of thumb, 20% below market value, and then you set your reserve 10% above that usually. So the expectation is you'll probably get around 10% less. However, You know, we do have a track record of selling properties for over and above what they've been on by private treaty, because it just takes 1 or 2 people to be interested on a Thursday evening with a gin and tonic, and you'd be surprised what people pay.
So I had a question.
Yeah.
Is it really people, in terms of sellers, are these sellers who don't need to then buy another property? So because the completion timescale is quite tight.
Yeah, generally speaking,
either, it's not their main property, or they're going into rented, or something like that, rather than it envisaging a chain.
Exactly. So in terms of vendors, it's very, very rare. In fact, it's never happened to me that there's been a chain. So it's either properties that are empty, or people who've taken a view that they'll move in with relatives because they want the certainty of it. We can accommodate a chain from a buyer. So because if we get a pre-auction offer, and because we've got the skill set in-house to be able to look at contracts, we can extend that 28 days to 56, and we can do conditional contracts if we've got a buyer with a chain. So that we can only do that on a pre-auction offer. Obviously on auction night, its hammer's gone down and it's 28 days. So we always encourage anybody who's got something slightly complex to come forward with a pre-auction for us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Sam, sorry, it's Mark Scales here.
Hi, Mark.
From GrowthPad. Just a technical question. In your legal pack, forget the name of how you termed it, but do you guys do the S198 election notices as well? Is that included in the pre-election pack?
No, it tends not to be. So a legal pack tends to be sort of fairly basic information. It depends on the property, obviously, but within the pack, you tend to find, obviously, you'd have a contract, you'd have your official copies of your title, anything that's within there, or anything that the solicitor feels needs to be included. Some packs have searches, other packs don't, but they tend to be fairly bland in that sense.
Okay, because 198 election notices can add a huge value to both the buyer and the seller, because it's all about embedded tax relief on capital allowances and so on.
Yeah, And
I think you and I need to have a chat about it offline.
Absolutely, Mike. Yeah, just connect with me. We'll have a chat.
Okay, good one.
Okay, no more questions?
I suppose just one last question, if there is time, Dave. In terms of buyers, do you have a typical buyer?
No, in all honesty, Jonathan, no. It depends on the property, entirely depends on the property. We have a bank of people and investors, which right the way across the network that we tap into. So when somebody registers with us to sell a property, that goes out to the entire network. There's a lot of traders out there. There's a lot of investors, investor landlords. We're finding that people now are looking more towards commercial, but we do get those people who are looking for a family home, first time buyers, people that need mortgages. So we can be flexible with it. So it's a cross section. I'm guessing kind of similar that with private treaty, to be fair.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.